Strictly underground.
Big up the underground.
Completely revamped, remixed and brought up to date.
Underground.
The underground doesn't stop.
Yeah, I'm Franco, and I've been like alternative for maybe 50 years, and I've seen it come and I've seen it go. I've seen ideas come and fizzle out, but what I do is see people wanting something else, wanting something they feel entitled to, and you know, I've been in groups, moving and travelling around the world and seeing it all, and it's the same little spirit, the same spirit that wants to be free that is being stopped. You know, it's being stopped. But it will go on. I know it will go on, and I will go on. And at the moment, all really means something strong to me is music. You know, I mean, everything. They've used music for everything. Using music, even use music for war. You know, and that's the only solitude for me, because so many people, so many broken dreams, so many empty words, all the way down the line, Well, that's got to stop. There's got to be something that's positive. We've got to go back a long way to get my sort of turn on to music. I'll tell you about it. When I was 9, my dad took me to a cricket match, and it was England versus West Indies. And when they had the end of the innings, a steel band came on, and I'd just gone. That just did me. And when I get back home, and I get all my mates, and we all collect all these oil drums from all over the place, from the old wrecked factories and stuff, bring them back, put them in our garden, and we were banging away. Neighbours throwing stuff over the fence. Shut up! And then my dad came back, and of course we turned all these oil drums upside down, and all the oil had run out onto the lawn. So that was my sort of introduction to music when I was 9. So yeah, there's no speakers for a couple of months, but we got over it, you know.
That's great. Classic.
You were at the last Reclaim the Lanes. Tell me, what do you think about Reclaim the Lanes? What makes it such a unique event?
Because it brings back to the front that it is our city. We live in this city, and you know, there's so much taken over by traffic and stuff. You know, there's got to be some space where we can move about freely without being killed by cars and traffic and stuff. Reclaim the streets, reclaim everything. It is ours. You know, it is our heritage to live free and do what we want, to communicate with each other, to gather in the streets, and like I say, without being mowed down by traffic. Yeah, it just shows what the potential of a lot of artists can do when they come together collectively and have the space to do it, and the lanes are perfect to do it. I mean, you don't interrupt the flow of the city, so to speak, and you don't step on anybody's toes. You know, we should have the right to do that without the hassles of Johnny Law, you know. Yeah, it just brings it from the underworld, which it unfortunately has to happen, to the forefront and into the face of the people, and the people walking by see that there is a movement, there is something apart from their worrying existence of this and that and the other, and mortgages and money and it enables them to forget that for a while and look what is possible. You know, look what's around them by the artists in the streets. That's what how the movement's going to affect when we bring it out to the people, and the people see that it's happening, see that there is a spirit.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you think that Reclaim the Lanes is different to Reclaim the Streets?
Reclaim the Streets is bordering on the authorities' toes, and you step on the toes of the corporations. There you slow their money-making schemes down, and they don't like it, and then they get the police to back them up. I mean, the police won't very rarely back us up, back the movement up. They're instructed to stop movements, but the streets is a much bigger thing, but when that does happen, that creates the difference. That creates the difference.
And coming from the UK, did you have any experience with Reclaim the Streets in the UK where it started?
Yeah, we used to do a little bit in Notting Hill and Ladbroke Grove, and that before all the riots started. When the riots started in Ladbroke Grove and Brixton and all that, when people were had enough of being suppressed, and then they go out. Where else can they go but in the streets? You know, they didn't call it Reclaim the Streets, nothing like that. They just did it, you know, because they'd had enough. And I think the people in this country are going to reach that point too, where they say, well, this is too much. We've been bombarded with politics and political rhetoric, and do this and do that and do the other. And yeah, we're fed up with that. People are fed up with that. You know, and that's what happened in the UK. People got fed up with that, fed up with Thatcher. That was a big movement in England when Thatcher was around, because she was stop anything. You breathe too heavy, you stop you. You know, so I mean, personally, I don't want that to come to this country, but I'm afraid it's inevitable. It's inevitable. While they go for profit and growth, it is inevitable that people are going to, at some point, react. When they're threatened with their houses going, when they're threatened with their cars and everything, when they're on the bottom line, then they'll say, what is going on? But not until that point there will be a big change. There will be a big change after that, and then we will be able to work in the streets. We'll be able to, you know, arm in arm with cops, arm in arm with politicians. You know, everybody, we're all the same. Inside we're all the same. No, what we're searching for outside, inside we're all the same. And when people stop looking out for their happiness and look inside for their happiness, we ain't going to go nowhere. But coming together in the streets is a start. And in 2000 we went all around Australia, took a sound system around there, and went to lots of Aboriginal places and entertained and then and looked at the people out there and see what we could do to help, and a few activists and a few actions and stuff like that. And then we went all around the edge of Australia till we came back to Sydney, and it was so good to be back in Sydney, and we met up with a lot more people down in St Peter's, down in Sydney Park, and people from Robin from Melbourne. He got the fire organ there, and lots of things that we'd made along the way, like sculptures we made along the way, and we had a really good party. And then that was quite good. I mean, Earthdream was so good. I think there's some more of it coming up pretty soon. A little bit of it happened again in 2012, but I think up at Albury Creek in Lake Eyre, were friends of ours from the Arabana tribe. We had an action up there in the uranium mines and stuff. And like I say, when we get back to Sydney, it was party on, reclaim the streets, and we was doing all that, and then like I say, Sydney Park. Then after that, we started Sunday Dub Club. After that, and that's still going on now. That's been going on for years, unaffected by the cops. The cops came pretty soon, but they stopped coming after a couple of weeks, seeing there was no problem. So that's what we can deal with that. But yeah, 2000 was quite an action year. I mean, people thought that it was the end of the world. Might be the end of the world in some respects for a lot of people, but the world carries on and we carry on. And that's the way it goes, and till the day we die.
How has subculture and music changed in your experience since the 50s, say?
Okay, well, in the 50s we used to get 40s music and stuff. Yeah, so we get rehashed music, jazz, and lots of jazz, and then rock and roll came. You know, we had early Bill Haley and stuff even earlier than that.
Bill Haley, Gene Vincent.
Yeah, Gene Vincent, and Eddie Cochran and all that lot, and then it had the soul element come to it. You had Otis Redding and Wilson Pickett, all that lot, and then you had all night clubs coming. And people wanted to dance all night, so the music progressed till you get to the then you get all the festivals happening and reactions to it, and police bumping you around it. Then the psychedelic era came, and I mean, the people was going down to the Horse Guards Parade in London and sticking roses down the barrels of the guns of the guards standing who couldn't move, and we was trying to show them a peace movement, that there was a different way to national service and go and shoot a guy for fun. That was coming. We got the Vietnam War, everything was going on, and people was really pissed off with the way the politicians was trying to manipulate the whole thing. But music was getting stronger, and then the gays brought in electronic music. Well, electronic, like techno music, house music, and that developed into light trance, and then heavy trance, and then techno, and then hardcore techno, and then power. That blew out, and you had drum and bass and all little. It was like an explosion, and little bits of it went in different ways, and you had different beats, drum and bass, and you had jungle and reggae, and all these different genres of music was going on. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And now we're at the point where it's all there. It's all there now. It's all there. We can choose whatever we want because it's in its fullest extent right in our face. We can choose what we want now. We can choose what going to make the vibration that's going to make people look inside and say there is something that's beautiful without having a bank account number on it, or any numbers, or any kind of earthly restriction. It's free of all that. And music will do that. Music's going to go on and on and on and on and on. You never stop music. Music was here before we came, and music will be here when we're gone. From the first time people tapped sticks together to now where we've got complicated computers banging it out. Music, it's the bottom line of everything, really. Rhythm.
Awesome, Frank. That's great. Do you think the alternative world is the beginnings of a wide and new approach to human organisation?
Oh, definitely do. Definitely do. I mean, once you start to inject harmony, which would be music, what music is, once you get this harmony that's coming constantly from every direction, from everywhere, then it will change the people. It will change the people. And it's like a drip, 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 drip. Sooner or later the drip will get through concrete, the drip will get through anything, as long as it's constant, and it is constant. Music's always been constant, always been constant.
Like the underground in Australia and England, you know, you came out here from one to the other. What are the main sort of differences you find in the sort of Australian underground movement and experience and in English?
Well, I find that Australia is very, very slow to react for something. They'll go and take a look at it, but they'll say, yeah, that's okay. Then they'll go back and they won't enhance it. You know, they won't enhance it, and like you put things on, and it seems to be the same every time. It doesn't get that much bigger, and it's the same people that come every time. I find it very, well, like asleep, if you like asleep. We always say that Australia is sort of 10 years behind, owing to its secrecy in the past, but it's got to catch up. It definitely catch up now. I mean, they're trying to do things now, i.e. Manus Island and all the rest of it, that in the past would have been secret, and we wouldn't know anything about it. But those days are gone. You know, those days are gone, and the politicians will have to come answerable to the people. The people, let's face it, we vote them in. You know, there are public servants, and it's time they started to publicly serve. You know, and music will do that. The music will do that. You know, they never stop it. You know, they never stop the people that do it, because it's part of their soul. It's part of our being. You know, you'll never suppress that.
Your experience with Spiral Tribe and Bedlam, that must have been an amazing run of years. Just what are some of the golden sort of insights you can get from all of that sort of experience?
Well, yeah, there was the first one was 82, when we started the Mutoid Waste company in England, because it needed to be done. I mean, it needed to be done, and Joe Rush and Robin and a few more started it in London, and that went on, and then we was in Berlin when the wall came down, and Spiral Tribe was with us. I joined Spiral Tribe then, and then I mean their thing was to find an empty warehouse, take the lock off, go in, clean it all up, put lights in, put sound in, have a party which was generally ram bang full, thousands of people, play music. I was mostly techno music. That was when the techno thing was really happening, and then when the party was finished, we'd clean the warehouse up, and it was always cleaner than when we went in, because these was old disused warehouses. We clean them all up, take the lights and the sound out, lock it up, and leave it. And that's how it was going. But the thing was, we only survived on what donations. We never asked them for any money, but they gave donations, and we bought trucks and bought sound system, bought rig, just out the goodness of the people. I mean, people used to come to the parties, especially in France, and they'd say, how much is it? Well, no, it don't cost anything, but go in, and if you like it, come back and drop us a few whatever, be it francs, be it marks, be it wherever we were. And they usually come back and chuck us this, and we had loads of money, and we only had one meal a day. That was all we ever spent. Was we had a breakfast in the morning, and we had a meal in the evening, and that was it. That was the whole expenditure of the crew. And the rest went on the equipment, and you know, buying diesel and everything else when we couldn't. We used to get diesel from the Russians in Berlin, buy it really cheap, and we got what we could however we could get it. And I don't see that happening anymore. It's like you take one step forward, and then the police and authorities contain that. Then you have to take another step out of that situation, and do it another way until the police and the authorities come and stop it. There'll be a time when they can't stop it. It'll be happening everywhere, and people do it everywhere. You know, all these parks all over the place, all these parks empty. No, and you go and play music and they'll stop you playing music. Why is this? You know, because not enough people are doing it. Same as if a man protests, they can sack him. But if 1,000 people protest, they can't sack them all. So people have got to come together, or whatever, to make put this world back right for the people. Never mind about what it's designed for now, and it's certainly not designed for the people. So there you go. Anyway,
that's good. Maybe just a little bit about Bedlam, sort of.
Oh yeah, and I mean we joined with a lot of groups there, and there's Stevie Bedlam. I mean he was a reggae bloke and used to build beautiful sound systems, and I think he's still doing that. He's selling them all over the place now, but he does a radio show. And Stevie Bedlam, big friend of ours from the UK, he's moving all over the place now. He's moving with the sound system, making music. And when we was in America, we turned a lot of people on. They're doing music all over America, so it is like a virus, if you like. It's so catching, you know, his music, so catching. Can't escape it. Everybody, no matter what it is, everybody, even though they might just tap the feet and might hate the music, but they must listen to it. They wouldn't know that they hated it, you know. So there you go. But the groups will go on, and let's hope that we all come back together and we do the big gig in the sky. How about that?
I was going to ask, what are your hopes for the future, but you kind of just covered it a bit, but because this is probably fully finished now for now, we could probably go on all day with the stuff that you've got, the stories.
I know.
Any hopes for the future?
Hopes for the future? Yeah. I'd like to see fair play. I'd like to see the politicians come back to it and look at the people and don't consider it's your jobs. God, forget that. Forget all about that. Forget about your economy. You got money. We're giving the politicians every penny we've got. And I just want to see these politicians stop telling lies, be a bit transparent, and do what they're paid to do, and that's run the country for the people. Not for corporations. Corporations should come second. Corporations should beg, not demand. So that's my idea out for the future. Maybe I won't see it in my lifetime, but you won't stop me dreaming about it till I die. People unity, because like I said in the very beginning of this interview, we are all the same inside. That sparks inside everybody. Call it God, call it whatever you like. God ain't outside. It ain't in your two cars and your bank balance and every other little material thing you can surround yourself with to make you feel good about things. It's inside, and it was there when you're born, and it'll be there when you die. That thing, that energy that's inside. G-O-D. Generator, organizer, destroyer. God.
Brilliant. Alright, cheers Frank.
Underground.
Strictly underground. Big up the
Underground.
completely revamped, remixed and brought up to date.
Underground.
The underground doesn't stop.